Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Orange Globe. It's the OG NBA podcast coming at you live today, February 16th, 2019. We are in the midst of the All-Star Weekend 2019 in Charlotte, and we'll break down the Saturday through Sunday festivities on today's episode. As always, I'm your host, Dayton Brown, joined yet again by my good friend and high basketball IQ Clevelander, Quentin Worthy. You can follow him on Twitter at SpiroSwagnew and myself at Dayton_Brown_. Be sure to also follow the podcast Twitter and Instagram at The Orange Globe. And, of course, subscribe to us on YouTube to stay up to date with everything. Quentin, how are you doing, my man?
I'm doing all right. Looking forward to this All-Star game. That's always, like, the highlight of the NBA season. Well, aside from the playoffs themselves.
Right. Oh, absolutely. And the NBA is one of the only professional leagues that actually gets the entire All-Star weekend correct. The NFL struggles every year with the Pro Bowl. The MLB is fun, and the Home Run Derby is awesome, but it still does not compare to how the NBA is able to do things.
No question.
And year in and year out, the NBA is always impressing us. And the All-Star game never disappoints. Sometimes some dunk contests can be underwhelming. Sometimes the three-point contest anything can happen then. But the All-Star game is always entertaining, and most leagues cannot say that about their All-Star games, especially not the NFL, just with how complicated it is to try to run an exhibition football game. It is really difficult. And then baseball, really, again, anything can happen in baseball. You could have a 0-0 All-Star game because the pitchers have just been outstanding, or you could, have a fantastic game where the pitchers don't do jack because, all the batters are. So it's very, very interesting to see the NBA continue to be fantastic at putting on these All-Star weekends, and I'm with you, man. I'm really, really excited to get into this. Let's actually just jump into the action that happened last night. Of course, you had the Celebrity All-Star Game, which I'm not really going to get into because in the grand scheme of the whole NBA stuff, it doesn't really matter. But for those of you who are curious, Famous Los did win MVP. He dropped a little over 30 points, had a few rebounds as well, and he was showing off. Of course, he's pretty much a pro player overseas, and he's an internet sensation as well. So he's used to the basketball grind. So it wasn't really anybody out of the blue winning MVP for the game, but Famous Los had a fantastic game. And then, of course, you had the Rising Stars Challenge, which featured MVP of Kyle Kuzma, of course, of the Los Angeles Lakers. And it was Team USA versus Team World, which they've been doing for the last few years, which I like a lot. I love to see, international players against some of the younger American players. So it's very interesting, and it's very awesome that the NBA actually has as many young international players as they do to be able to pit them against the young USA players. And so I love that idea. You had guys like, Josh Okogie, Luka Doncic was out there, Trae Young, of course, Kyle Kuzma, a whole bunch of Lauri Markkanen, a whole bunch of really, really awesome young guys, Jason Tatum, Trae Young. And Kyle Kuzma had, he made 10 3-pointers en route to his 35-point performance that won him the MVP. Ben Simmons also had 18 points himself. He was 9 of 10 from the floor. Trae Young had a few highlight plays, as did his teammate John Collins. And Luka Doncic was quiet. Didn't really perform most. Everybody was wondering where he was. Other than that, kind of your normal run-of-the-mill Rising Stars Challenge. Saw a lot of young guys show out. Kuzma ends up with the MVP. You got any thoughts on that game? I mean, it's impressive to see these young guys come out here and play, especially when it's Team World versus Team USA. But Team USA kind of almost blew them out in this one.
Yeah, well, I liked that Luka Doncic, we know he can score. We know what he's good at because he has such an immense skill set. The thing is, looking at that box score, he put up 9 assists despite his 13 quiet points. And the only beat by De'Aaron Fox, who put up a very quiet 2-point performance with 16 dimes, my guy. 16 dimes from De'Aaron Fox. There's not too much to say about the Rising Stars. I'm happy that a few of these players are getting in there and feeling some type of way about Cedi Osman putting up 2 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. Cedi Osman has such an immense skill set, and I'm just not seeing him use it this year to the degree I wanted him to. Circling real far back up to the Celebrity All-Star game, you can't just pretend Ray Allen wasn't there.
Oh yeah, of course,
You can't.
Totally forgot. He was draining 4-pointers all night.
Yeah, Ray Allen. Oh man, I loved that. That was a little nostalgic to see Ray Allen in there. I'd like to see a few more of those kinds of things because you're not going to get me to watch the Big Three. Sorry, Ice Cube. Yeah. I'm not watching the Big Three.
I've tried before, and it's you can't get into it. It's tough to get into something like that.
It's just I don't know. It's kind of like watching these players, and it's like nah, not like this. I want to see you guys playing ball again, but not like this. Maybe coaching.
There you go. There you go. A little bit, but like the NBA is the NBA, right? That's what people are going to follow. Any other league, it's going to be immensely difficult to try to even get close to matching the same levels of the NBA in terms of the importance level to fans watching. So I'm with you.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Ray Allen showed out. He actually had Sue Bird on the sidelines. I don't know if you saw that clip, Quentin. She was talking.
Oh, did he?
It was, she said, I'm going to quote her exactly too. She said, she was asked about Ray Allen's performance. She was sitting on literally on courtside there at the stadium, and she was asked about Ray Allen's performance, and she said he was doing really good. And she said, I'm literally, quote unquote, going to ride him all night, or I want to ride him all night. Along those lines, she was like 15 at. So it was very odd, very interesting. But yeah, Ray Allen put on a show. It was a very interesting night. But tonight is actually where everything, quote unquote, important goes down. Pretty much all the notable festivities happen tonight before the actual game tomorrow. You of course have the teams practicing today as well. Team LeBron versus Team Giannis. I want to get the least talked about event out of the way first. The skills challenge. Which is fun. It's always fun to watch it happen, but it's also, it's a timed event. It's not really anything like the dunk contest or 3-point contest where, fireworks can go off if a guy catches fire, has an amazing dunk. It's everybody runs the same. It's an obstacle course. It's more so like an evaluation of talent. You feel like you're an NBA scout watching these guys in the skill participant challenge. You don't really get that in the dunk or the 3-point. You just kind of watch guys. So it's a very interesting event. But the participants there, you got Luka Doncic of the Dallas Mavericks, Trae Young of the Atlanta Hawks, De'Aaron Fox of the Sacramento Kings, Mike Conley of the Memphis Grizzlies, Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets, Jason Tatum of the Boston Celtics, Kyle Kuzma of the Los Angeles Lakers, and Nikola Vucevic of the Orlando Magic. So majority of these guys super, super young, under the age of 25. A lot of the guys are under the age of 22. But of course, Mike Conley is the vet there, the only 30-plus-year-old. And of course, you got a couple of big men. They used to do big men versus pretty much centers and forwards versus guards. But it looks like they have more guards than big men this time, and a couple of point forwards and Jason Tatum, Kyle Kuzma, and I mean you can throw in even Nikola Vucevic into that category too. So a little bit different this time. I'm actually really liking Trae Young's chances in this event. Again, it's usually the quickest guy with some of the best handles. I think that Trae Young is right up there, even though he is the shortest, but that could come to his advantage. Do you have after looking at the list, do you have a predicted winner that you could say you could go to?
It's hard to predict a winner for the skills challenge. It really is, but I believe Porzingis he is a former winner of the skills challenge. I don't know if that's true.
He won a couple years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So a part of me wants to say Jokic. I'm riding this Doncic hype train, so a part of me wants to say Doncic. They're so. The thing is, that's just going to be one I have to watch.
I can't wait to. I'm honestly very, very excited for tonight. I actually want to mention that right now. I am hyped for the festivities tonight and the game tomorrow. Like,
you got
one of the best times during the sports calendar year. Football is over. Baseball hasn't started yet. We're in a very, very awkward purgatory position right here as sports fans. But love the NBA. With nothing else going on right now, the All-Star Weekend seems like a savior in my eyes. I love the dunk contest. I love the 3-point contest. And I love even though, like I said, the skills challenge is really an afterthought. It's put on the back burner. It's still fun to watch those guys go out there and perform because, they're having fun. They're professionals. They're some of the rising stars, in our league. So, I'm really excited for tonight. But, yeah, good point about Porzingis has won. Pretty sure Anthony Davis has won before, too. If not, Karl Anthony Towns has for sure, which is very odd to say that Cat has won a skills challenge. But the big men tend to do really good. Nikola Jokic could very well. He's one of the triple-double machines and one of the best ball-handling big men in the league. So, I definitely see that as well. But Mike Conley, I think, is the dark horse. I think everybody's going to underestimate him because he's the old dog in this fight. But he could, he's one of the better floor generals in the league, and that's usually who thrives in these type of challenges. So Mike Conley is also, I think is my dark horse. So it's gonna be fun. The other festivities, of course, as I mentioned before, so this year they're calling it just the AT&T Slam Dunk. There's no contest or competition. It's just AT&T Slam Dunk. Then you also have the 3-point competition and the All-Star Game, which happens tomorrow. But let's talk about the events that are going on tonight. For the 3-point contest, here are the participants. Damian Lillard and Seth Curry, both of the Portland Trail Blazers. And, of course, you have Seth Curry's brother, Steph, out there representing the Warriors. Then you have Joe Harris from the Brooklyn Nets, Devin Booker from the Phoenix Suns, Danny Green, the vet, from the Toronto Raptors, Kemba Walker, all-star starter this year, from the Charlotte Hornets, Buddy Hield from the Sacramento Kings, Khris Middleton of the Milwaukee Bucks, and the legend, the OG, Dirk Nowitzki of the Dallas Mavericks rounds out the 3-point competition. So you got 10 participants here, Quentin. A couple of former winners. Of course, Steph has won it before. Devin Booker. Actually, I need to make sure. I actually didn't. I'm pretty sure Devin Booker won the event last year.
Did he?
I know that he did. Yeah, he won the 2018 JBL 3-point contest. So Devin Booker is your reigning champ, and it's actually pretty rare for guys to repeat as champions. But I'm going to be taking. If I had to predict a winner out of those 10 guys, I'm actually going to take Devin Booker. Even though he's dealt with some injuries this year, I still think he's the best. I think he has the best jump shot in terms of his form than any of those guys on the list, right next to Steph Curry. And I think that benefits guys a lot in this competition. So if I had to choose a winner, I'd go with Devin Booker defending his title. When you look at the list of those 10 guys, those shooters, obviously very, very talented guys, who do you see having the edge in the competition tonight?
Well, my bias wants to say Damian Lillard.
Yes. I want to say him too.
Objectivity makes me want to say Stephen Curry. Now, Seth Curry, I'm happy he's in this. But it does feel a little early because though Seth Curry has been shooting an accurate 3-point shot, he's been shooting no more than 3-point shots a game on the high end.
Right.
So, now I would love to see Dirk Nowitzki go home with this, just for that little story,
Absolutely.
And I wouldn't be shocked because, like I said, I'm pretty sure Vince McMahon bought the NBA. Unnecessarily dramatic year.
Oh, boy.
Unnecessarily dramatic year.
He brought in Rich Paul, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, and he probably bought New Orleans while he was at it. I'm gonna say Damian Lillard.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll with my bias.
I would obviously, Blazers fan, I would love to see Lillard to win. And yeah, Curry, that's the thing about, I feel like they just put Curry in because they had Steph in, so they want to make it a brother thing, which is fine. I mean, it's the All-Star weekend. Obviously, there were more guys deserving of that spot, but I mean, this is a fun little nod to him. It's not like he's a terrible 3-point shooter. He just doesn't take a whole lot. He's a bench player. Most of these other guys, are either starters or, and I mean, like in Joe Harris's case, you're a 6-man. Or Dirk Nowitzki's case, I mean, you're just an old wily vet who deserves to be in this spot, and you've earned it throughout your career. So, yeah, it's very interesting to see Seth there, but it'd be funny if Seth and Steph end up making it into the finals and they got a battle head-to-head. I feel like that's definitely what the NBA wants to go towards. So, but yeah, I'd love to see Lillard to win.
And then Steph's going to do his heel turn.
There you go.
It's going to be insane.
There you go. Breaks out the RKO as Seth's about to beat him.
I'm going to need JR and Jerry Lawler get this one for me.
They need to. You know what? That'd be awesome if they announced All-Star Weekend, especially the
Oh,
slam dunk
absolutely.
contest. Slam dunk contest is where they would shine for sure. That'd be awesome. And then, of course, you have the slam dunk participants, and this year is interesting because you don't really have again, this is a purgatory season for the dunk contest, and it has been because you have Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon, who have put on the most exciting dunk contest in recent memory, that happened a few years ago, and it was most exciting really since Dwight Howard put on the Superman show back, I think that was 2009, 2010, and then you had LaVine against Aaron Gordon 2016. Of course, you had LaVine, the through the legs, the behind the back dunks, and then you had Aaron Gordon catching the ball or grabbing it from the Magic mascot and dunking it from Puff the Magic Dragon. That dunk contest went blew up, and neither of those guys are in this year's dunk contest, even though both are healthy, and would for sure love to, I'm sure, participate. But I don't know if the NBA is kind of going after some new names to kind of get them in here, because they did choose guys who are great at dunks. So here are the participants before I go on anymore. Dennis Smith Jr., who now plays for the Knicks, recently got traded. Miles Bridges, who plays for the Hornets, young guy. John Collins, another young guy, plays for the Hawks. And then Hamidou Diallo for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Really, Dennis Smith and John Collins are two most well-known guys on this list due to their dunking. John Collins is a bigger guy, a taller guy, and he can dunk the ball like no other. Dennis Smith Jr. went viral at NC State because of the awesome dunks he could do, and he's a shorter guy. So, very interesting dynamic there, but also not really too many well-known actual NBA superstar guys, which we've gotten before with, guys like Kobe Bryant, Dwight Howard, and so many other guys in the past. Kobe Bryant, of course, competed in his Jason Richardson when he was in his prime. So Michael Jordan, of course, Dominique Wilkins, Spud Webb. So a lot of the times dunk contests will feature an actual superstar in the league participating. This year we don't get that at all. So I'll ask you before I even ask you one. What do you think of the slate of these four guys? Do you think the NBA was, I guess, just dealt a weird hand this year, and not a lot of guys wanted to participate, so they just kind of had a shorter list to go off of? Or do you think that they chose a fairly good selection of guys? I mean, these guys are all very talented at dunking. Do you think the namesake, how big the names are, do you think that is good enough for the NBA All-Star Dunk Contest?
I do feel like this is actually becoming pretty meta when it comes to the dunk contest. And the reason why I say that is I remember because I got back into watching basketball once I moved out here, and subsequently LeBron came back to Cleveland all at the same time. And I remember the dunk contest that year because I always look forward to the dunk contest. And we had Victor Oladipo, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and then lesser-known players from there. I didn't know who these guys were. And I talked to so many people about who are these guys. Giannis was yet to show us exactly what he could do. He was a 16th pick, or I think 16th. And then Victor Oladipo, he hadn't had that breakout yet. He was still wearing that Magic jersey. And now we talk about these guys. So these guys right here, I mean, with the change of how basketball has become, because now that poster dunk is nice, but now we're in this math age where it's like, that was nice, but that's 2 points, dude.
Right.
So we look forward to this 3-point shootout. That 3-point shootout is star-studded. And this dunk contest is more of a chance for these younger, lesser-known players to make a name for themselves, but they can truly be huge. Oh, I'm sorry, I completely didn't even mention Zach LaVine in that dunk contest there, but I didn't know who he was either.
That's true too. No, yeah, you're absolutely right. I remember that contest too. Yeah, no, that's a really good point. This is a shooters league now, so
yeah. And so we don't really watch these amazing dunks like we used to. I mean, I saw Kevin Knox. Oh, poor Ben Simmons.
That was a beautiful poster.
He baptized that man.
Yes, he did.
But it's still 2.
Hey, right, and they still got blown out of the game too. They lost by like 25.
Yeah.
But that was a great dunk.
I think these it's come with just how the game has changed and we watch basketball differently now. So, and I think there will be a shift at some point because, well, let's be honest with ourselves. Next year, Zion Williamson will headline that slam dunk contest.
Oh boy. And I'm curious as to see what jersey he's going to be donning in the contest too. But yeah, he will be.
So, and when that happens, the attention will shift more to the dunk contest than it has in forever. And maybe we'll see some more players wanting to be a big part of it. But when you see these guys in the dunk contest, I mean, how tantalizing is that for like a big name veteran that we want to see in the dunk contest?
LeBron.
You're not going to get Blake Griffin to do it.
Right.
Yeah, you're not. LeBron won't do a dunk contest.
I want him so bad. I wish he would, but I know he never will.
He won't. And the thing is, LeBron has some of the most powerful, insane dunks, but I've never really seen his creative side of dunking because there is a video of him in a high school dunk contest up against like Shannon Brown. Yeah. Shannon Brown. Say that name in any given sense, I guarantee you no one knows who he is, but the man could dunk.
Yeah. Former Laker, for those of you listening that don't know. For those of you under the age of 25 who are listening.
Shannon Brown.
Yeah, I remember Shannon Brown. He was. I think. It was probably a different. Yeah, it was probably a different dunk contest. I do remember LeBron going up against Carmelo in some sort of dunk contest too at a high school gym. But that could have been the year before because I'm pretty sure it was when Melo was coming out of high school.
Yeah, he's probably still in Oak Hill.
Right, yeah. He was coming out of high school, and I'm sure LeBron was a junior at the time. But yeah, throwback there. But yeah, I wish so badly LeBron would do a dunk contest, but he never will. But good point about Zion. We'll be headlining next year's, and that'll be really exciting. That's something to look forward to. But yeah, it's a shooters league. People care about the three more than the two, rightfully so. It's, more points, and if you're as efficient in it as teams are today, might as well. So let's get into the actual big game now, the All-Star game. Before I get into who we think will win and who the actual participants are, I actually want to know, Quentin, who you think was the biggest All-Star snub. If you have one or two, let me know. For me, I'll just put mine out there first. My biggest All-Star snub is the guy who actually created a little bit of controversy afterwards. Rudy Gobert. Dude is averaging a double-double on one of the better teams in the West. He has the best field goal percentage in the league for qualified players at 64%. And he's one of the best defensive centers, maybe the best defensive center in the entire league. He's going to go down as a top candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. He might even walk away with it. His numbers are off the chart for that. And somehow, because of how stacked the West is, he did not make it in the playoffs. He was in the East. He definitely would. Because, no disrespect to Nikola Vucevic, but he made it over in the East. And I think if they did a non-conference, all-star reserves, if conference didn't matter, Gobert would definitely get in before Vucevic, and rightfully so. He deserves it more. So he's the biggest snub to me. Who's on your list?
Well, I saw the voting. And you know what? There was a little controversy between the voting, but the voting was what it was, and so I love that they're kind of making room for a little nostalgia and some of these veterans to be a part of the All-Star game. I do love that, and I understand that there's even a little controversy there where it's like, hey, let the new guys get in. Well, trust me, they're gonna get in.
Right.
But we've got Dwyane Wade as a special addition to Team LeBron and Dirk Nowitzki as a special addition to Giannis, which is nice. But can somebody tell me why Derrick Rose isn't participating this weekend?
MIP.
Not in a skills challenge, obviously not in a Rising Stars challenge, but sure. Derrick Rose, what we're seeing right now is insane. It may not be all-star numbers, but it is an all-star performance.
Sure.
Because what he is doing is so far out there and unexpected. And I saw him on the voting list. He was very high up there. And so was Luka Doncic. Doncic. Now, I understand Luka Doncic not making the All-Star game. I get it. It's his rookie year. However, I feel like that's the only reason he's not in, is because we feel he needs to earn his stripes. This is a Euro League MVP. Yep. How many stripes does he got to earn?
Right.
You know? It's... As far as the actual roster goes and what an all-star game should be, I think they did perfectly fine. I feel for Rudy Gobert, but that's just a part that comes with being on the West. Now, how Rudy Gobert chooses to use that is what's important to me, because we've seen Damian Lillard get snubbed for all-star games, and Damian Lillard ain't playing it. He comes back and he plays some of the most monstrous basketball ever. I wish he had gotten snubbed just now, just because I want to see him come back and go... It'll be Dame time all the time.
Right, yeah. He just goes ballistic.
Absolutely. Somebody disappoint this man right before the playoffs. Somebody disappoint him right before the playoffs. Because angry Dame is best Dame.
I'm begging you.
Yeah, no, I feel like, at the very least, I just feel like Derrick Rose should be participating in this All-Star break.
Sure,
and
somewhere.
Unfortunately, he's not. And that is my disappointment. As far as it goes, again, I feel for Rudy Gobert, because I do think at this point it should just be non-conference, because the teams are non-conference. You just have conference. Conference leaders, but the teams are non-conference.
Right.
So
it's very odd. And I mean, yeah, the team leaders are from different conferences too. And you have 12 from each conference, but the actual pool of players gets split up into, it's odd. It's very weird. I mean, if you're going to do East versus West, just do East versus West. But,
right.
I mean,
I like this format. Don't get me wrong. It's just the way the league has gone, where it's just so far to the West. It's hard to... It's hard to look at the Eastern Conference and see. Now, the top of the East is every bit as good as the top of the West, but the middle and the bottom of the East are non-competitors. Because to me, the most dominant team is not the Warriors, it's the Raptors. To me, the Raptors are the most dominant-looking team right now. And then I'll take a look at Golden State, and then I'm looking at Milwaukee. It's pretty even on top.
Yeah. I think Toronto is definitely the most balanced team. They have everything you need for a championship team, as does Golden State. But Golden State's kind of slipping a little bit. They're letting their emotions get in the way. I feel like for the Warriors, they've been here so many times. They've been in this position they are in so many times. They're getting too comfortable, too emotional, too impatient, I think is the right word. I think they're getting too impatient throughout the regular season, because they know once it's playoff time, it's go time, and they can succeed there. But if you slip up too much in the regular season, that could create problems down the line for you. And I feel like that's kind of the mode they're in right now. But yeah, Doncic is a good mention. And Derrick Rose, he won the skills competition about 6 or 7 years ago, so I'd love to see him, do it again. I don't know why they didn't. That'd be fantastic. Unless they offered and he didn't want to, I doubt that. He would have been fantastic addition to the skills competition too. I think two other guys I'd like to mention for snubs: DeMar DeRozan, Donovan Mitchell. Again, the Western Conference guard position is just so stacked, but both of those guys are having really, really good years, quiet good years as well, but good years nonetheless. And now finally, let's get into predicting this game and thinking about the selections. So you have Team LeBron versus Team Giannis, and they each got to select. And this time it was actually put on national television for their selections. Last year it was not. So this year, Team LeBron, here is who he ended up picking: Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Kawhi Leonard. Those four guys will be starting with LeBron. And then you got LaMarcus Aldridge, Bradley Beal, Anthony Davis, Damian Lillard, Ben Simmons, Klay Thompson, Karl Anthony Towns, and of course the honorary Dwyane Wade. That's pretty stacked team. Then you got Team Giannis, who will be starting with Steph Curry, Joel Embiid, Paul George, and Kemba Walker. And then he also selected Blake Griffin, Nikola Jokic, Kyle Lowry, Khris Middleton, who he wanted to select as a starter, Dirk Nowitzki as the honorary member, D'Angelo Russell, who's filling in for Victor Oladipo, Nikola Vucevic, and then Russell Westbrook, who was actually traded for Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons was originally selected by Giannis, wanted to trade for Russell. Or I think it was mainly LeBron wanting Ben Simmons, ended up trading Russell Westbrook. So those are the teams. What did you think of the roster selections, Quentin? I really enjoyed that they did it on live TV. I want it to be a thing, and I've talked about this with Joe Leo on his podcast too, that the selection process should be something that happens the day before, and it should happen pretty much on the court, like, playground PE dodgeball style.
Oh yeah,
where both of the captains are standing there. You have the line of guys. They select them. You can still make it an event, kind of like they did on TNT, right? Have a host out there, have them kind of coordinating it, make it a little fun. And then right after that, have both teams break off and have them practice like they usually do on Saturday anyway, because they only practice once anyway. So I think that would be really interesting to have it be the day before, have the guys pick live there on TV still, in front of, it doesn't even have to be an audience, but definitely on live TV with the host, so that everything is coordinated. You pick these guys right there, and then you start practicing. I think that's a great idea. They made a move in the right direction, though, and having them pick on TV this time was nice. It was fun. Right. It was a good time. And to me, LeBron had the better team selection. I think his team is more stacked. But what do you think of the roster selections? And yeah, are you in agreement that it should be a little bit more of a bigger event for when the players are selecting?
Well, I would love the idea of them like drafting their players pickup style. Like,
yeah,
let me get Kyrie. Like, I think that'd be sweet. However, then they wouldn't have time to make these sweet All-Star jerseys.
True. There, yeah.
I think that's literally the only reason why they picked so far ahead.
Good point.
Is to now I remember, and I don't know how many other people will remember, when in the All-Star game they just wore their respective teams' jerseys, either the away color or the home color, dependent on which, dependent on where the city was. Because if the city was West, all the All-Stars just wore their home jerseys for their team. Right. And I mean, you could definitely just go back to that if you did that pickup game style. Now, when I saw the selections, and I just, in the terms of power of names, like, there are some players, you hear their name and go, ooh. Because LeBron James is a ooh. Right. Kevin Durant, ooh. Kyrie Irving, ugh. Mm-hmm. Like, the power in the names on LeBron's team are absolutely atrocious. There's no way. This guy's got Klay Thompson, Anthony Davis, Damian Lillard. I'm just listing off the reserves because Jesus. But I will say that based on the starters, you do get a more well-rounded crew when you look at Team Giannis because, well, you actually have a center.
Right.
It's the only center that was voted to be a starter, which I do think is a little insane because
a little weird. Right.
But so you do have a better team composition over there. You do also have two scoring-minded point guards, but they're all scoring-minded nowadays. Everything is telling me to go with Team LeBron, but I'm going to have to take Team Giannis on this, just based on team composition.
Okay, I like that. I agree with you in terms of the balance, and I mean, Team Giannis has two of the best centers in the league, too, in Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic, two of the most versatile big men, too. So I'm actually glad you picked Team Giannis. I want us to be a little bit different. I want it to be interesting on the next episode when we actually talk about the results. I'm going to go with Team LeBron. LeBron, Durant, Harden, Irving, and Leonard on the floor. By the way, did you see Kawhi Leonard's new shoes? The Times New Roman. Oh, man.
With the period after Leonard.
And the proper capitalization and everything. That was...
Oh man, I actually, let me cop a pair of those.
Right. Oh no, I would absolutely wear a pair of those. Especially, New Balance is comfortable too. I'm not gonna lie, New Balance makes some comfortable shoes. I could ball on those.
the amount of character in Kawhi Leonard,
Just comes
you can
through.
sneak us laughing into anything too. You crack a really dumb joke, followed up with
Like you get forced against your will to laugh is what that is.
it
I'm going
sounded
with
like
Team
a
LeBron.
knife in his head.
Yeah. I'm going with Team LeBron. I think they're overall better. I think LeBron did a better selection process, and I think LeBron is also the best player on the floor out there. So I mean, usually when you got the best player out there, you're going to be in good shape. But yeah, I think it'll be a high-scoring game. I think it'll be like 190 to 180, somewhere up there. Hopefully, one team breaks 200. They got close a couple years ago. We'll see.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome because it's gonna just be a pure show of offense.
Yes.
And we know that a part of me I'm liking that I'm picking Giannis because I'm looking at Steph Curry, who is just come on.
Right.
He's come on, man. And Giannis, how do you guard Giannis?
Yeah.
Joel Embiid, how do you? I mean, you got AD over there. You also have Karl Anthony Towns, which yeah, he's good, but those are the softest post ups I've ever seen in my life.
Absolutely. Oh,
Can you imagine?
It's sad.
Can you imagine him posting up against Shaq?
Whew.
I mean, granted, now Shaq is the biggest dude, so that
But
would
still,
be an
I mean,
unfair comparison.
We saw how it went up against DeMarcus Cousins, so I mean, Shaq wouldn't be much
Soft.
different. So, but yeah, that's all the time we got for today's episode, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to be watching the All-Star festivities and keeping up with who we were predicting. And be sure to follow Quentin on Twitter at SpiroSwagnu. Follow myself at Dayton_Brown_. Follow the podcast at The Orange Glow. Anything else you want to say, Quentin, before we sign off?
Nope.
Put you on the spot, my bad.
No, you're all good. You're all good.
Thank you guys so much again for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll talk to you guys next week when we recap the All-Star break. Have a good one.